Okay, looks like we are live. I'll run over here and do the check just to make sure. But if you're watching, if you would jump on, let me know. Welcome to the live stream. Think that was my yep, the doggone predator trying to get me. We'll leave him be. We got other stuff going on. So there we go. Try that one. All right. Well, while I am, like I said, trying to fumble through this and check it out, fairly exciting week, I guess. Eventful. There will be more to come out. Let me get to the calendar and go back and check. I do have two new endorsements. A couple gun shops. I'm going to wait till it's all dialed in and I can get them put up on the website. But yeah, I picked up a couple more endorsements from the gun shops. Hey, look, in 2A, this is where I am. The 1934 National Firearms Act and the 1968 Gun Control Act are both unconstitutional. Shall not be infringed is pretty clear. So there is that. And that is where I would work in that venue and actually work. Again, what I'm seeing as I do this, you get all these report cards, and I don't know exactly how they that these guys get their scores in some cases, but in our particular district with Congressman Desjardins, like, what are we getting? This guy doesn't actually go up and fight for anything, at least that I can see. I mean, now, in his 8th term, he is the chairman of a subcommittee. So, again, I've talked about this a little bit, but congratulations, I guess. What does that actually mean? To me, it just means you're up there like, you run the gavel, you control the flow, which I'm sure there's, some behind the scenes stuff that goes on with it. You do control like what gets heard and things of that nature. But again, our guy is not, he's not a fighter, if you will. And we've seen that demonstrated time and again, even recently, again, with the VA closing here in McMinnville, which we'll talk about a little bit. And then with that vote about the House resolution to, make public knowledge, or they keep track of it and keep it on record, the sexual improprieties that go on up there. And he's okay with that. He is, with that vote, he said, yeah, let's send it to committee to die. And we're comfortable with that, which I am not. That especially, and wherever that money comes from, there is some taxpayer funding that goes into that. And then, I don't know, whatever they each kick in money, however that money comes out, it doesn't even matter. Well, it does matter a little bit, but the fact of the matter is that they are paying to cover up sexual misconduct. That's the wrong answer. So, why isn't this stuff public knowledge? And you can see an example of it this week. And again, and it doesn't matter, your feelings on the guy. It's just a case in point. But we got the whole deal with Eric Swalwell. We all know this guy was, up to no good. He's doing the things, but they don't, they held on to this, and that's what they're using it for. And this is his own party. And the same thing happens to Republicans, but they hold on to it until they want this guy out of that governor race. So boom, let's drop this stuff. Nobody's screaming about his due process. Nobody is worried at all. Nobody's talking about, oh my gosh, the victims. Whereas in this resolution, the victims were, their information was to be redacted. But it's just it's nonsense to think that they should not that they should be covering up this stuff. And like I said, our rep said, yeah, let's kick it over to committee to die, because that's what's going to happen. They'll bury it. The news cycle will bury it, just like we've already seen kind of with our VA here in McMinnville. And so there is that. Okay, but let's go back. We'll talk a little bit about this week. So last night, Cindy and I went to Bedford County to the Reagan Day dinner out there. Hey, great event. Thank you so much, Bedford County Republican Party, for putting that together. And it was an awesome venue. I think the Fly Arts Center in Shelbyville. Let me make sure we get this right. Pictures, the Fly Arts Center in Shelbyville. So it's a great venue. Looks like they rent it out. So if you got something you want to do over there in Shelbyville, I got no idea on pricings or how it goes, but look into them. I think they did talk a little bit about that. But yeah, that's a great venue out there. They I guess they rehabbed the building and set it up for that. So if you got something out there, you need a venue, check into it at least. So there we go. All right. And that's kind of the lead in. Where are we at? We're 6 minutes deep on this. So let's talk about, so the channel, welcome. I am Tom Davis. Thomas E. Davis is what you'll see me on the ballot. Republican candidate, U.S. Republican candidate in the primary for the U.S. House of Representatives in Tennessee's 4th Congressional District. And we're leading up. This is we'll talk about the week, just go over some things, answer questions on here, and a comparison between myself and our incumbent and why we need to change. And, this will, as I talk until, anybody chimes in and chats. If you see this down the road and you want to get a question on, go over to Facebook and put some questions there. Email me, tomdavistn4@gmail.com. We'll put those questions in. And in fact, I will pull up my Facebook now. Talk about, let me get to my stuff. Yeah, so that's that. Let me see if I had any we'll just run the list a little, reminders. Tonight, I will be over in Tullahoma, and that's 908 Country Club Drive. It is the East Middle School, and that is Coffee County. Republican Party is putting on a Meet the Candidates. They put on a good event out there. They got this one. Pizza is going to be served. So if you want to come out, you're in the Coffee County area, come on out and let's talk. Or that, the Tullahoma area, it covers several counties, kind of centrally located for us. But yeah, come on out, participate and ask the questions. And hey, to those of you that out there that are doing the things, the likes, the shares, the tagging of groups, friends, the channel is, or the channel, I guess we can call it here, or page. We're on over on Facebook. The page is growing. So I do appreciate that. And if if you're not following on Facebook, please go do that. If you're not subscribed here on YouTube, where we're where I'm live streaming, do the same thing. Subscribe, get the notifications, because I am doing this weekly, at least through. Actually, this will be we win the primary. I'll keep doing it. This is it's not that difficult of a task, I don't think, to come through and do a live stream and answer questions for about an hour a week. Also, like I said, we're doing my commitment has been quarterly town halls. Right now we're kind of deconflicting. Maybe Sequatchie County is putting some together. The conservatives, I think it's Sequatchie County conservatives, but the conservative group over there is looking to put together a Meet the Candidates event on the 13th. That's the day we were looking to do it. So we're kind of trying to deconflict. We were looking at our event being from like 1 to 4, but they're looking at like I think 11 to 3 or noon to 3, something along those lines. So I would, I personally want to be at that event. So we may adjust a little bit. We're far enough out that I think we can make it happen. Or we're looking maybe to push it a little bit later, and we're still working the venue. I think I have one that I want to use. I'm gonna work on that, and that'll be actually in Franklin County. So still pretty centrally located for most folks, kind of down that I-24 corridor, and and we're looking maybe a little more evening time for that. I know it's a Saturday, and I do appreciate those of you that show up for these things. I mean, there is a lot to keep track of when you start talking about your local elections, local taxes, what's going on there. You get up to state, and you look at what I mean, honestly, a little disappointed in the way things shook out for us in Tennessee. We have this alleged Republican majority, super majority, and we get an expansion of the vouchers, and just without even any. I mean, let it run a couple of years at least, but they jumped on, added 15,000 more slots. Yeah, every other state that's done this is just, it's turned into a bunch of nonsense. It's a money grab, and if you haven't figured it out, I am not a fan of the vouchers or scholars, whatever they actually call it. So yeah, no buenos. Let me get that down. So hey, if you haven't done it, myself and a good friend of mine were on with the Patriot Punk Network over on Rumble, talking about the VA clinic. If you get a chance, go over there and check those guys out. I have posted about it. Also, as I'm looking here, American Legion Post 173 in McMinnville has done a petition online. If you can, and you can see it on my Facebook, I've posted about it. If you would go over and sign that, I truly believe that if we can get enough pressure, that they will keep that clinic open. And don't expect anything out of our representative, Scott Desjardins. He's already taken a back seat to it. One, he didn't know that it was even closing. And please go verify, go over on his Facebook page. He's said that. He put out a statement, or a post on there saying, I didn't know, which I'm not going to I'll take him at his word on that, because that's even worse than if he did know. Maybe, but so he's not in the district. He doesn't know what's going on, in particular for vets. And then I'll keep talking about this because it just irritates me to no end that at a personal invite, he went to North Dakota to talk about missiles. Why you would put, missiles over things, I don't know. And then I'm looking at and to me, from what I heard him say in Coffee County last week, it sounded like he had another conversation with old General White up there out of Minot, North Dakota. And, really, you couldn't have been like, again, I'm just like, get on the phone, dude. But like, hey, and if this general is worth any type of anything, he'd have been like, yeah, got it. We can, do it over the phone, reschedule, but you need to go be with those veterans and at least standing with them. But again, he chose to go do that because he just doesn't show up in these places. I am seeing he's starting to send some reps into places, which I think maybe he's feeling a little bit, which is good. Let's put the pressure on him and get him to do things that he should be doing. One, town halls, and showing up, and then voting the way he should dang vote. Reading through the bills, at least knowing what's in them. Okay, let's see. There was a comment on one of these. So this was about the petition. And so the question, and this is, again, we're trying to keep this clinic open ideally, but Ethan on here says, I already got a new appointment at the Tullahoma VA. VA made the summer appointments really fast, a few days sooner than my original appointment. That's awesome. Hey, and it's good to hear the good stories with this too, because some of us will have a good experience, getting calls and things like that, which is awesome. But now I would say, do you have access to the base? That's your next question there. So actually, let me reply, and I'll do this. Let's see. That's Great. That it. So on my tablet, so real time watching me respond. That's great. It is moving well for you. Just make sure you can access the Air Force Base. All right. Hope that is helpful. That's great. It's great. That's that is moving well for you. Make sure you can access the Air Force Base. All right. So got that one taken care of. Hey, and then I'll give another shout out to the crew over there, Patriot Punk Network. He does some good things. The Today in Tennessee segment, kind of some interesting little stories, and then his live stream that he does. Go over and check some of those out. There's some interesting stuff, I think. And then, like I said, myself and my friend Chris with the VFW were over there talking about the VA clinic. Thought I had some more comments going here as I scroll back. Maybe not. All right. Oh yeah, I was able to jump on with Kelly Walker Slaughter at Warren First earlier this week. I think it was Tuesday. I was on with her, and we talked a little bit about some stuff. So if you get a chance, go over and watch that one also. Okay, with that, all right. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is probably. Okay, yeah, that's his comment about from one of those about, hey, let's, Monty Fritz. You're definitely going to want to check out Monty Fritz for governor. Great guy. He is not. We have got to start getting rid of these establishment people, and my race in particular. This is the 8th term, so 16 years for Congressman Desjardins. Go look up Marsha Blackburn. I mean, and Matt Murphy had her on, and I thought I listened to the whole deal. Maybe not, but he was going to ask her about, like at what point did you decide that this is what you're going to do forever? I think it's like 26 some odd years she's been in politics. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. And then they'll present it to us like it is an advantage. And I mean, in some instances, okay, but oh my gosh, if all you're doing is sitting and you're just following along, then that you're not doing good. Just let somebody else come in and have a crack at it, give it some fresh ideas, a new insight. And like I said, out of our rep, this guy doesn't, he won't even show up for us. Town halls. We did get a minute at the Reagan Day last night, which is fair enough. They are in session, or allegedly. They're off for the weekend now. I'm not looking at the schedule, but either today or tomorrow. They only do 4 days up there. Actually, I think that is so. I'll give them a pass on that one because Thursday's a bad day. Trying to get back. So good on him. We got a little minute clip that they that we heard from him. Just hey, look at me. I'm the chair of this committee, so that's my excuse that I'm too busy for for you peons out there in the district. But so we did get that. But you're not in the district, dude. Where was it going? I'm still kind of scrolling through as we do this. So, and trying to, yeah, I think that's, how far back are we? Let me check those comments and see. Oh, someone sent me the gift, but it's not playing. Oh yeah. This is my man, David. Is that Hildebrand? Yeah, I just sent the gift and says, your AI slop bores me. Like, okay, thanks for the comment, dude. That's awesome. Is that far enough? Yeah. Okay. So I think we're kind of caught up on the comments there, doing those things. And so let's get back to the calendar. We'll check that out. So yeah, we had the GOP, the Bedford County, and again, the if you get a chance, go to these. As I recall, Bedford County was reasonably priced. So I think I want to say 65. Yeah, it was like $65, I think, for the tickets, which is great. You get to go. And there's some interesting people you'll meet at these. Uh, I'm not going to name names because sometimes, these folks, and I've actually been asked not to use pictures, which I have not, of this individual that I'm thinking of, but I got a chance to see him again. But you'll meet some interesting people, and not necessarily the venue to you know to try and get some hard questions answered. But hey, if you feel like that's what you need to do, then absolutely, because this is where I was told originally. Hey, as I'm back a couple of years ago, where can I find my representative? That was the answer I got. Go to the Reagan Day or Lincoln Day dinners, which I don't. We do a few of those, but they're like, hey, go to that, and you'll get to see him. Which, okay, why? My taxes pay this dude's salary. Why in the world am I going to pay again to go talk to my representative? That's just, to me, insane. And again, this venue is not necessarily for that. And then you hear about Reagan's 11th commandment, like, thou shalt not talk ill of fellow Republicans, which, okay, that to me, that's code for we're not going to hold each other accountable, which is a horrible idea. Iron sharpens iron, as we're told in the Bible there. So yeah, why? I mean, I'm not personally. I don't. I'm not going to get too deep into a personal life unless it's going to show recent enough that it's a problem. And I understand some folks will still hold things against the congressman, but like I said, to me, some of the stuff is not, and I'm not going to go after it, not going to go into it. But I'm just looking on a voting record and how he's conducting himself now. And this is the things I hear about out in the district. And that's the big one is the accessibility. Like why, so again, those three, I've heard three different excuses about why he does not do a town hall. And the first one was that it's too dangerous. These town halls are dangerous and scary. So they've been advised not to do it. You know what? If it's too dangerous, go do something else. That to me is a nonsense excuse. The next one I heard, and that was at the beginning of this, the 119th Congress, is that he's too busy. Which if you're too busy to be in the district, again, you're not doing the job right, and we see it. He chose again, and absolutely understand 100%. He could have attended that town hall in Warren County, but he chose the personal invite to go to North Dakota, not even in the district. I would. I don't know. I'm not going to be more forgiving. I wouldn't. I don't care what else he had, because I was trying to, maybe if it was at Arnold Air Force Base, I could have. No, dude, because again, these senior leaders like that, if they are any type of leader, and you call them up and say, look, I got this issue going on in veterans, and I mean, and there was nothing so important in that meeting, I'm sure, that he couldn't have put it off. But so back to to the town halls, too busy. That's what I've told, because he's the chair of this subcommittee. He's too busy to come back and do town halls to see us, us, those that he represents out here in the district. Nonsense again. And then from his mouth at the Warren County Reagan Day, said that it's a Democratic tactic. Didn't get any kind of further explanation on what do you mean, but I don't know. To me, and again, I've talked about my town halls. I will do them. Everybody is welcome to them to attend, but but we're going to act like adults. And you will be, if you cannot abide by that and be a reasonable person, we're not going to yell and scream at each other. Like winning the argument is not the person that yells the loudest or interrupts the most. Or we can have some discussions. And currently how I'm running them is, you present the question, we have a moderator as your representative. It'll be less formal. We can sit down and talk. It'll be same venues typically. And we'll start out with maybe writing it down. It's a little bit of flexibility. I'm not going to necessarily have a moderator in there doing that. Again, if you want to come in and act like an adult, we can act like adults. We're not going to yell and scream at each other or make it weird. And if you do decide to do that, that's fine. But you will be asked to leave. And yeah, you won't get a chance to be heard. That's how we'll work it. So, but so I don't know what he's talking about with a democratic tactic, and didn't want to stick around and explain it. And that's the kind of the other bit too to me. And I don't know, maybe this is just my character and how I see it. But his pattern, even at these the Reagan Day dinners where you got to pay to go see the guy. If he gets to he gets to talk at most of them, and just like bounces, like as soon as he's done running his mouth, he's running for the door. And they got like a plan. You'll see. I mean, sometimes those that he sends out to representative, or those that do support him is great. They will stay. But to me, I'm like, I don't know. I stick around. I can understand, maybe afterwards you're doing something, but at least let us know, like, hey, I gotta bounce. But he doesn't. He just like zips out, man. And it just to me is a little disrespectful to those that are talking behind, coming up after, especially like some of the candidates. But again, he's not the impression I get from our representative. He's not interested really in answering hard questions, or really, other than people outside of his circle that are really on board. He's not super interested in doing the thing. So there we go with that. Okay, where are we at on this? Okay, let's we'll talk a little bit more. So Warren County GOP last night, again, great deal. I was able, my campaign manager, she was out at in Sequatchie County, so we were able to cover down on that. A lot of great stuff. And like I said, we'll work my town hall in June to make sure, I really want to be at that one in Sequatchie County. So we'll do that. What did we do here? Went out to, it kind of is to represent a veteran, and my post a little bit, and it was Thomas Gwynn. I went to his services. Wow, we got some amazing people living in this area. Look into him a little bit. I went out to So I was in Lawrence County at the American Legion, the district meeting out there for that, and there was people out there, and of course, it's a district meeting, so a lot of folks from, come from different areas. But, this again, back to the closing of this VA clinic, like just absolutely ridiculous. Any way you slice this up for our representative, you didn't know? Come on, man, seriously. And there's a problem, and no accountability on it. Here's my question to our congressman: what are you doing to fix that you didn't know? And I'm not advocating somebody gets fired, but if you've got a person that's responsible for that, I think it's important to let people know what corrective action you're taking. And so I'll put it that what corrective action are you taking? Again, I don't I'm not advocating that we fire anybody, because I don't know, is this a one-off for that person? Whatever. But what corrective action are you taking that you are in the know for the veterans in the district? And if the answer is, I'm just going to throw my hands up and be like, I didn't know, that sucks for you guys, is basically what I'm getting out of this. You're wrong, and you need to fix it. And how do we do that? We sign that petition. That's how we affect this. And you get on board, with another candidate in the primary, and let's vote it out. Because to me, that's unacceptable. That is, for our congressional rep, at least a hard look at firing him. And how do we fire him? In the primary. So, okay, let's see. What did we do? Oh, yeah. What was this? Oh, this was, yeah, I attended this candidate forum for my local stuff, and these are very informative. I will tell you, in one of the particular races, I think my vote has been swayed another way because of watching these candidates, on the stage and answer some questions. So absolutely go to these things. Let me back up my calendar. And so, yeah, went out to Grundy County. Hey, great job out there, Grundy County GOP on Saturday, the 11th. We were able to get out there and do the meet and greet out there. We also, did we do this one? Man, yeah, I want to say, yeah, that was the 11th. I think that was another one. I didn't get to. It was another one for the local event. That's right. But we did go, the Grundy County one, and again, so that was where, I did see my rep out there, these folks out there, my local, because on the fact, I think maybe we're into early voting, so I'm looking at my calendar. Today's probably not going to work because I'm heading to Murfreesboro after this. But probably next week I'll probably go early vote, and so I need to know what my candidates stand for. Republican primary, so vetting the candidates and the ones that I can vote for. Go see these folks at these events, and so that's the week behind. The week ahead, tomorrow on the 18th, I will be, the Warren County Republican women are putting on a meet and greet it's 300 South High Street in McMinnville, the Heritage Center. I will be at that one. And then I kind of feel like we got something else tomorrow too. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm doing some other stuff, but but I will be at that one. Thank you, Warren County Republican women, for putting that together. So there's an opportunity. Like I said, so tonight, meet the candidates, and that's we already talked about that, but that's in Tullahoma, 908 Country Club Drive, and what do we say? That's East Middle School. No, perfect. And then Monday we will see I might head out to Pulaski if I can confirm that. And that's a VFW meeting out there. Hey, and I will tell you, regardless of how this stuff comes out, I go out. Another bit of what I do is the VFWs, American Legion, any of these of us, veterans organizations. We need to fix the issue out there of us thinking that we're non-political. The American Legion, the VFW, 100% political organizations. The key the distinction here is nonpartisan. And so, and I'll put out my disclaimer as I talk about the VFW, American Legion. They do not endorse candidates. Don't infer that they're endorsing me as a candidate, any individual post, as a state organization, as a national organization. So as I share their stuff, that's informational. Or if they happen to share my stuff, because I don't know. I don't think I've seen them share stuff, but don't infer or think that they're endorsing me in any way, shape, or form. If you happen to see me in, I've been not really active recently since I've been doing this, but with our honor guard, If you see me in my VFW Honor Guard uniform, my VFW hat, that does not mean I'm being endorsed by them any way, shape, or form. Because there are people out there that get it weird, get it confused, and just knock it off. But we are lobbyists. So as veterans, and it's picking up. There are some posts sending out letters to even our local ones have invited in. I know our post here, and we have candidates. We open it up to everybody, and that's the thing for the post is you're nonpartisan. So open it up to everybody and understand as veterans, just because we're a veteran doesn't mean you're going to vote for the veteran. But it just like when you're hiring, you get some extra points in the hiring process for for government stuff. So you get a few extra points, but you still got to make the cut. So if if you are a veteran, but you're completely wackadoo, because we have those guys too, then I'm not going to vote for you. Or if the other candidate is better, but I'm going to, for me personally, and vets that, who better to represent us than us? That's the first inclination is a veteran. It's just how it is. Call it good old boy system or whatever you want. And I absolutely advocate look into the candidate, vet them, but maybe they get an extra 5 points in your point system for how you vote. But back to again, no type of endorsement will come out of the VFW, the American Legion, at least those two organizations. The other ones I'm not going to try and speak for, but I'm going to assume is the same. But if they've got lobbyists or people that go up and because here in Tennessee it's a coalition basically of veterans, and they'll do a Vets Day on the Hill and go advocate for veteran stuff. It's your lobbyists. So own that mess. Absolutely own it. Write the letters, local candidate, all the way up the chain. Hey, come and talk to us. And that would be all of the veterans, the VFWs, and even outside of the district, anywhere in the 4th Congressional District, write the letter as a post in a district. Be like, you need to come to explain to us why you didn't know and the corrective actions you're taking, not only to a better alternative for these veterans as seriously, you March 20th, you have a town hall saying on May 31st, the clinic is closing. Oh my gosh, absolutely train wreck. But write your letters to these elected officials and say, hey, come and see us at our meeting. We'll set up a meeting, however you work it in for your post. But we need some responsibility, some accountability for our elected representatives, especially a VA. That's federal. And what we're seeing now is our local folks are taking a bigger interest in it than our congressional rep. And then and I'll give credit where it's due. Congressman John Rose, congressionally, has taken up the lead. Yes, Scott Desjardins has signed on. Like, oh yay, look at me, like, get out of here, dude. Take the lead. That's what it's about. That's what you should be doing. I don't expect he will, but he's very, very comfortable. In his position. Let's make it uncomfortable and get what we deserve, which is a better representative. So, all right, we're talking calendar. So then, next week, hey, if you want me somewhere, or if you got a group of folks you would like to see me, just send us an email, tomdavistn4@gmail.com. Hit me up on Facebook. You can message me there. It's tied in with Instagram, same way, but reach out to us. You can call the campaign, and that number is 931-201-9813. Go to my website, tomdavistn4.com. But reach out and let's get it scheduled. I'll come out and talk to you. In fact, I'm working on something. I'll reach out back out to citizen out there in Lawrence County. So look for that. And if we set it up as this way, then, come have coffee, whatever, do the thing, but I'm more than happy. So link in. Next week. We're just kind of, we got that. We're looking, I got to get tickets. Hopefully, I'll be out running around at the Cornbread Festival uh, next weekend, Saturday and or probably not, but Sunday we may go down. I'll sling it out just as we go walking around down there. Uh, I am. So yeah, we'll start filling it in. So right now it's a little bit lean, but I'm sure we'll add some stuff into it. So there is that. All right, let's check and see what other stuff I was looking to talk about. Oh, talking about some legislation this week. And so it interesting to me how we're presented with things. And so the big item going on right now is the farm bill, which now I get apparently in this bill it's going to make it illegal to hunt with dogs. Are you kidding me right now? Where's our, get some, if you're if you're a hunter group, if you hunt, let's go, let's get this fixed. But as you kind of look at what our federal government does, this, and I'm not saying we need to set conditions for success. And what we've done now with the farm bills and the way we do business is we create a dependency on the government. It is, again, we shoehorn this stuff in constitutionally, and we put our hands out for the government money. This money came from somewhere, so our federal government has raked in based off of our income taxes, our sales taxes, yada yada. They chew it up and you see even without just fraud, they chew it up and send it out to places that it's got no business going. We send it to nations that absolutely don't care about us, and we try and get them on the transgender train, and ridiculous. And even within our country, we should be sending no money, no taxpayer funded dollars to NGOs. It's not a thing. It's not an us problem. And that's why are we getting it, three types of problems: you problems, me problems, and then we problems. And if it didn't start out as a we problem, don't make it a we problem. It's not. Stop with the refugees. Stop. Let's go with the Pause Act. Stop. Just full stop. No more H-1B visas. No, I have absolute 100% confidence in the American people that they want to do these things. Again, if you're just stop. Might it be a little bit painful? Absolutely. Because again, they're just doing jobs that Americans don't want to do. No, that's horrible. We've imported them, and now we talk about the evil corporations. They're in it to make money. If you can pay one of these H-1B folks through loopholes or just abusing the system, if you can pay them less than what you're going to pay an American, it makes business sense to an extent. But and again, you talk about especially the publicly traded companies, they do have a responsibility to the shareholders to be profitable, to make money. So stop the mess. And how disrespectful to those that have come through the process legally and put in the time. We sat at Coffee County with a couple, and she went through the process. I think she said like 7 years to become a citizen. And you gotta, it's not just, hey, I'm here, I overstayed my visa and now I want to be a citizen. No, cart your butt home, man. You knew that it was expiring. If your court date, to extend or whatever was past your date, that doesn't mean you just get to stick around. Cart your butt back where you're from and go through the process. We have these things in place, and I'm not sorry for that. That like if I allow my driver's license to expire and then I get pulled over because I broke the law, or even now we're doing things like if my insurance, if I allow my insurance to lapse, you're gonna suspend my driver's license. If we're going to do things like that, It is not an unreasonable expectation that if we allowed you to come into this country on a student visa, on a work visa, on whatever, and you go past that date, no, you have broken the law. And if you do something else to get stopped, yeah, get you. I do not feel sorry for you. You made those decisions, and I can have some compassion and some empathy for that family. That sucks. Um, but at the end of the day, you did not do your job in this. You didn't keep up your end of the bargain. So cart your butt home, man. It's that simple. Um, and you know, I, I don't know what to tell you. That's just how it is. But we need to stop this mess. Um, so, but like I said, I was talking to that couple, and they go through the process. Um, so how disrespectful to those that we're going to now people are going to jump in ahead in line. No. Um, but back to, all the money and where it comes from. Um, the colleges, you show me in the Constitution where it's up to the federal government to subsidize colleges. It's not there. If we try and again, we try and make things fit our narrative. General welfare, that it it needs to benefit everybody. If you're going to try and say general welfare, it needs to benefit everybody. And I'll even say I do believe that, but for the sake of discussion, for the sake of argument or whatever, let's say you have to provide a benefit for 80% of the population. That okay, if enough of us agree, like, okay, 80%, then okay. But again, it needs to be this stuff needs to be prioritized. The Constitution is the first priority. Is this constitutional? If the answer is no, then it goes way to the bottom. And then if we're going to do those things, and I absolutely don't think we should, but if we are going to do those things, it's out of an abundance. It's like, okay, hey, check it out. We knocked it all out. We quit sending money. We actually took more from you than we need. So now we can look at the food stamps. Again, show me federally in the Constitution where it says it is up to the federal government to feed you. It is not there. And say I'm heartless or whatever, but look at these programs. Look at what they've done. What have we got for these programs? We've got a dependency on the government and people going out there acting a fool. Like, I'm going to get mine. Okay, go out and get a dang job and get yours. It is not any type of, it's not some type of human right. And even if it is, look at the contract. It is not up to the federal government to provide these things. And even biblically, if you don't work, you don't eat. I mean, that's in there. And again, not to say we shouldn't help those that can't work, but is the federal government responsible for that? I still say no, because even we had that shutdown last year, like what was it, 43 days or whatever, and the food stamps went away. Those folks did not starve. I haven't seen one case reported where those folks starved. What did happen, and an absolute demonstration of the American people, those local communities came together. The churches came together and got people food. That's how it should be done. Example after example. Even FEMA. Who showed up first when we had the Hurricane Helene come through? Was it FEMA? Was it? No. And in fact, them jokers were dragging their heels. They showed up and didn't want to help, conservatives or Trump supporters. You got it twisted. The local state governments, local individuals. I went out there as a VFW member. Our VFW here pitched in. Those are your first responders. Your county, your local county folks, the sheriffs, the EMS there. you know, your local VFWs helping each other out, American Legions, you know, it just any of those organizations. I'm sure I'm missing some. The churches, that's where it's at. Not let's break all the taxpayer funds from everywhere and then eat it up in administrative costs, eat it up in fraud, waste, and abuse, and then we'll get to you. This is it's horrible how we've allowed this stuff to happen. So and how do we fix it? We take it back. We vote those out that have decided to become career politicians. This is another thing with our representative. He initially, and you got to dig to find this, but he initially ran on term limits, said 12 years. 12 years was good. And again, I know y'all can math it out there, but he's now at 16. It'll be 16 years and won't explain it. I'll like at least come and tell us why. Like, well, I know I said 12 years, but here's why I'm changing my mind. But we don't, you know, and this is what we hear, you know, term limits is a huge thing. There's all the pledges out there. There's, you know, but you know, why is this guy's told us if you don't have the integrity to, you know, to stop at 12 years when that's what you said, or at least explain, you know, like, hey, I know I said 12 because I get it, that stuff changes. But you know, for you not to take action on it or, you know, an explanation, same thing, like with the VA, what are you doing to fix that problem within, you know, with you and then whatever staff that you have there? Because again, it's 15 counties, you're one dude. So there is a network of people there, you know, talking to you. And I'm sure, you know, I don't know if you're talking to the VA, you know, in the district, if you're talking, I mean, they know, they knew this wasn't just like a pop-up. Again, in that town hall on 20 March, they said this goes back to 2019 and a survey there, or, you know, some type of a deal they did there. And then the number, you know, the hard number, they've been looking at this clinic for 14 months to close. And again, on the VA, even within the VA, what are you guys doing that for 14 months and now you're going to wait? And I talked to the folks at the VA, the public affairs people, and I was told December they started planning this. Yeah, that's just you're going to tell me on, you know, you're talking out both sides of your neck, telling me you're taking care of veterans, but then you do this. And then even more frustrating for me, I mean, personally now is I'm following now the Tennessee Valley Health Authority. So they're the ones that manage here, at least, you know, part of this section of Tennessee, the veterans healthcare. And then I'm also following the, you know, the VA at large. And, you know, for these guys to, you know, for me now to be seeing all this stuff about, hey, look at the clinics we're opening, look at all the things we're doing. But then you tell me that you can't keep this clinic open. No, that dog don't hunt. Yeah, it just if there was truly a will within the VA and within, you know, our congressional reps, if there was truly the will to keep this clinic open, they would keep it open. You will not convince me otherwise. Even though I heard, you know, I saw the hands go up like it's the law, like you're running, you should know, and like. No, I get it. But you know, Congressman Rhodes was able to, you know, his staff kind of figured it out. Hey, look at these laws and stuff. Go figure it out. Again, they passed these bills, thousands and thousands of pages. You can't tell me that within there's something like, hey, look, just keep money open. And then find contractors that actually, you know, pay their employees. And I, you know, I don't want to but I've talked to some of these employees, and the way they've been treated is absolutely horrible. And even that, you know, those folks that work there, they didn't know. It dropped on them too. So if you're not telling them, like, hey, look, we need to figure this out, or I don't know, maybe Valor wanted to drop that contract in McMinnville if it's not profitable, but you bid the contract. And we were told it was already extended. Extend it again. You're telling me you can extend a contract once, you can extend it twice. So just an absolute crap show with this clinic. And you know, and they want to talk to us about staffing issues. I think maybe one person on that panel had been there any length of time, and you're going to hammer this clinic and close it as one of your reasons? Or are we going to close the York clinic because you guys turn over personnel all the time? And yeah, you can guarantee I'll start filling out your doggone surveys and start complaining about this stuff. And it'll start today. And that's where I'm going to Murfreesboro. I'm going to York up there to have some. It's an ultrasound, but we'll see. They tell me to show up 15 minutes early. I'll be early, and then and I'm on a timeline. So if they don't, if I'm 15 minutes past the time, like, I gotta go, man. I got other stuff to do today. I gotta get back home and get ready for the town hall tonight. Which again, you see come out, and that starts. I think I might have missed the time. That starts at 6 p.m. out there. Yeah, let's get back to some good stuff other than me just running my mouth about the VA. Yeah, 6 p.m. It starts out there. Hey, and if you want to go somewhere else, also out in Bell Buckle, there's a Meet the Candidates going on. I do not believe I'll be able to make both of those events, and my team they got other lives as well, so I don't think we're going to have anybody at the Bell Buckle. That's how stuff goes. So, but definitely come out to Coffee County and see me, ask some questions. And then, like I said, next week we're still kind of filling the calendar in. What do I have? Yeah, a couple VFW stuff, which if you're not a VFW member, you can call them and ask to get on as a guest. And then the Cornbread Festival, and we'll put more out for that if times that I'll be going and hanging out to those places. So there we have it. Yeah, if you watch this at any point in time, you make it through the full hour of me running the mouth, I certainly appreciate it. Again, do the things, do the likes, the shares, the comments. The primary way I do is over on Facebook, but like I said, I have started this live stream. I think it's a good thing and a good way to engage as we go about the business of managing the republic. So and yeah, like I said, as the representative, this is what you can expect from me. I don't see any reason why I can't slice out at least an hour of my day a week for the residents, the citizens of the district. That to me is part of it. That's part of the job, part of the mission. So a couple minutes left. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to cover here? Yeah, I think I did talk a little bit about that. But again, oh my gosh, man, these cats up there and the House resolution for the transparency for the sexual misconduct, that horrible vote. And again, they talk about due process. They talk about the victims. It was in there. For the victims, that stuff was going to be it was in there to be redacted. And again, the due process. These guys don't care unless they're using it as leverage, and that's wrong. I mean, those jokers in California, they should have known. Which they all know. These guys that are up there that are slimy, they all know, and that's what they do. They hold on to it. And there, no due process. There's been no charges brought against Eric Swalwell that I know of. But yeah, this guy's, yeah, that we should know. But this is where we are. We got a representative that's completely okay with the sexual misconduct that goes on by our representatives up there, and completely okay with keeping that information from we the people, the stuff we should know. So there is that. I didn't really get into any Iran stuff. I really haven't had a lot of people talking to me about that. And it's a pretty divisive issue. I am not for it. I don't think our president is doing anything illegal. As we've had presidents do this for years and years. Now we freak out because Donald Trump is doing it. I do think if we are going to do the things, we should do them constitutionally, and it should be he should be asking for a declaration of war, and we go do the thing. But until such time, we'll see how it goes. affordability is one, and that's get the illegals out, relieve some pressure on the market, stop the government spending that is bad, or overspending, I should say. But there we go. Clean out the interior. ICE is doing a great job. So yeah, just a couple other quick items. All right, that is our time today. Again, I appreciate you at any point in time, anywhere you jump in to help the campaign, to help the Republic, and do the things. Again, we'll look at. I'll put it out. Probably Friday mornings seem to be working out. In fact, I'll just probably make the call next week. Yeah, the 24th. So perfect. We'll do Friday morning again. I'll put it on the schedule. We'll start posting about it, and I look forward to seeing you out there on the trail. Till the next one, this will defend.